okay, Amy's got one. So, okay,
Amy.
Mom, out of the 3 boys, which was the easiest? It can be in different stages as a baby, a child, and a teen. Maybe it's a mixture. So as far as like raising us, like, like who was the easiest kid in different parts of life? We've kind of talked about this, but we focused on like different specific things at the time. So,
my first reaction is to say you. And I say that just in general because they all have such different personalities. And Kyle's just a happy child.
Eric just says, I was a saint.
You were something. I have to say, though, I miss raising Eric. I miss those years.
That was an adventure for you.
Of having Eric. And because we had a long time that it was just the 2 of us. And that was a really fun, ages for him. He was, from like 2 to 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was discovering a lot of things about the stuff he loved. And, he was always in the kitchen cooking something and he was, but you have to remember though, I was 18 when I had Eric and I knew nothing. Yeah. So when, we joke that we grew up together, but we kind of did because, Eric didn't come with instructions.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if I was doing it all.
Eric is a child of God.
Of God. You forgot to capitalize that, Rach. Anyway.
We love you, Rach.
Eric was a lot of fun. And I think what made that a whole different, cool thing, though, was that Heidi was a big part of that.
Yeah.
And so, but, let's face it, none of these kids were planned at all.
Yeah, we're all accidents.
None of them. None of them were planned. And Devin, came along and I was going to be 40. Hi, Becca. And thank you, Rach. Thank you very much.
G-O-D.
And, but I was scared. I was scared to be a mom again after all that time with Devin. And Devin came along and he was just so self-sustaining, I guess. He's a smart kid, you guys.
Devin is one of my favorite. I saw that. Yeah. One of the things I love about Devin, and it's one of my favorite stories of him, was when he had like his crayons and like his coloring books and different stuff. And like he did color, but for the most part, he found empty pages to draw in. Mm-hmm. And because it was around the time
have
see
a
you,
good
buddy.
Stream.
Yep. Take it easy. But it was around the time that Michael Bay's Transformers movies were coming out, and he was big into them. Like we watched, whatever the newest one when him and I had the house to ourselves, that type of thing. But he drew Optimus Prime with crayons, colored everything. And I'm not talking old school 1970s, 80s Optimus Prime. He drew Michael Bay. Now, granted, it was a kid's drawing, so it wasn't like proportioned or perfect.
But you knew what it was.
And I remember I was sitting on the couch, and he came over to me, and he's like, Kyle, I drew Optimus Prime. And my first initial I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then I looked at it, and I'm like, that's Optimus Prime. I'm like, what is this?
Without a doubt.
He's had raw talent from such a young age. And like, because I think it's like we all have talents and abilities that have manifested themselves. But Devin was very early on, from like even when he was a toddler.
My mom said, she says, your grandma always said that late in life babies are smart.
Yeah.
And I believe her.
Yeah.
It was just a whole different version of that. And Eric was athletic. Mm-hmm. Eric was, he had his own like big strengths, and seeing what he can do now with the way he talks to people on coffee time.
Yeah, he's
and
come
the way
a long
he
way.
handles himself and the way he edits, and he's always like, yes, you have a million talents, honey. I'm so insanely proud of the adult that Eric has become, because the only thing about Eric was that he liked to push boundaries. He liked to push some boundaries. And
shit.
It's going to happen. Yeah. He was
hiding behind the curtain. Yeah.
So, but he has plenty of talent. I believe you.
Well, let's see here. So Gannon actually just said, he says, it's very clear that your children seem to be very creative and have a lot of creative vision. Was that something that was prioritized in the house raising them, or is that something that was just natural? That's a really good question.
That's a really good question. Gannon, you should be sitting here.
Gannon, if you make a guitar for me one day, we work something out. I'd love to interview you and talk about your process.
The guitar guy?
Yeah, he's the one that made the headless bass. He posted on, I don't know if you were on Discord if you saw it, but yeah. Yeah,
okay.
I joked with him on one of the coffee times. I was like, dude, I'm like, if you can make me a 9-string, kind of like ha ha ha. To his response was, I made a 9-string last year. It was a custom one. I'm like, whoa, what should we?
Oh, well.
Whoa. I'm like, Joe's gonna get me a custom. Or I'm gonna buy me a custom Joe PC and a custom guitar from Gannon. Hell yeah, So, but no, like the creativity. I mean, like, because I think that, I mean, we lived in a very entertainment focused home.
Yes.
It's like, because even with Randy Dad, because it was like we always had the movies like and stuff that we would watch like when DVDs were brand new. We had the theater systems. Like there was always like a fun aspect to life.
Yeah.
And different things. But I mean, I don't know, like how do you perceive that question? Like making us creative or natural or different things?
I didn't. He says he's working on one for you.
Oh, buddy, no, I want to pay you for one, man. I do not expect anything pro bono, buddy. So,
I never really had to. I never had to direct you in any particular place. Mm-hmm. For all of you, because whatever your interest was, is you have to let kids be who they are.
Yeah.
And you have to just support them, and you have to just you just got to let them go. And sometimes it sticks and sometimes it doesn't. But, Kyle's always been very creative and in different ways. And then when he was in like youth group, and he was like big into your guitar playing and so forth.
You heard Smoke on the Water so many times.
You know what? He was always in the basement playing a guitar, or he was learning special effects. He's self-taught in everything. And I never knew what was happening in my basement. It was a surprise, and it was fun. I would go down to do laundry, and I would hear, "Don't turn on the light." Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll just do this in the dark.
Well, there were even sometimes like when I would be like playing, I don't know, like I'd be like doing an acoustic song or singing or something, and then I would get done with it, and I would kind of have that. Okay, well, thank God nobody ever heard that. And then from the top of the steps, I'd hear,
"Oh yeah,
well done." I'm like, oh God, you heard that? That's terrible. So
no, it was very refreshing, and just all of you just took a path, and you just gotta let your kids run with it, and support them no matter what. I didn't have to understand it, and Devin being born in the generation of so much technology, I was no good to him. He just kind of did things himself. They shut us down for pandemic, and he had to do school online. I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have helped him with that. Yeah. So they all just chose their own thing.
I mean, you also had 3 different decades or different generations of kids of like different influences and stuff, so I think that's a lot to take into consideration with us.
Well, Eric was in the generation of MTV, everything, the 80s, and into the 90s, and those generations gaps between them, the world was different for every one of them. And so you can't fix that.
No.
You have no control. You have no control over what the world is becoming as your kids grow. And it was a different world for all of you at pivotal times when you were growing up. So
yeah. I think it's honestly too. I mean, it's one of those that, you know, I would say all three of us had big life altering events.
Yeah.
That happened within our lifetime, you know, of like being a kid and growing up, whether it was, you know, the absentee of a father, or if it was a divorce, or if it was a pandemic, or if it was like, I mean, like we all had our own flavor of things that went on. But I think that, you know, again, it's something that I wouldn't say that I necessarily take it for granted, but it's something I don't really think of, is that when people are saying like, dude, I wish I had the relationship that you and your mom and your parents and your brothers have. And it's like, well, guys, like, we never were like, we never weren't like that.
We've never not been like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, if you had a hidden camera into like family get-togethers, even like at Grandma Dora's big house, or like the time that you and I lived with Aunt Heidi and things, like we just had fun. We just enjoyed things.
We were so blessed no matter where we were. And home is what you make it. Your family is what you make it. And you get tough when you have to. And you let your kids, you got to let them fall down. You've got to, you just got to just guide them.
Yeah.
You know, just guide them, and they'll find their way. They'll find their way. And that doesn't really make it easier on me.
Right.
Because I'll go, okay, go ahead, see you later, and close the door and go, oh God, I screwed up so bad.
Well, I mean, you said to me before, you know, like again, the reason that we lived at Aunt Heidi's was not for a good reason, you know, like, you know, but oh yeah, he saw that too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Stop having a kid every decade. Yeah. But I mean, truthfully, like, I mean, that was, I wouldn't say it was the worst time by any means, because we've been through plenty since then. But as you told me, was that you had to make life as normal for me as possible, because like everything was just flipped on its head. There was so much animosity that was not there, that wasn't there before. But like, quite honestly, like when I think of Aunt Heidi's, I mean, yeah, the bad shit's there. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, the bad shit's there the same way that the bad shit is in this house too at that time, you know, like with the stuff I was dealing with, that's no longer a thing.
Right.
You know, so it's like, I look back at Aunt Heidi's place with so much love and affection, and it's so incredible, you know. It's just great. It was fun. We had a great time.
That was a safe space.
Yeah.
That was a safe space for both of us. And you know, Heidi understood the drill, as it were.
She was the one that said, go get him.
Yeah,
and bring
she
him
did.
Here.
Yeah. And
because I was not in a good situation, guys. Yeah, no, not a good living situation.
No.
So,
and I was in such a bad headspace at the time, and I was living on coffee and guilt, a lot of it for quite a while, and I just tried to make that normal as possible. And at the same time, you know, Eric was spending a lot of time, you know, with his friend. And they kind of took him in there a little bit, because I didn't know what I could do. I didn't know what I could provide. And that's kind of really where he wanted to be. He needed that.
Yeah.
I knew that. I didn't just go, here, take my son. I didn't do that.
Right.
I didn't do that. But he had to have that.